All right. Before we get into our presentations, just want to start off with some opening remarks. So I want to take a moment to address an issue that generated significant concern in our community last month. First, I want to clarify exactly what occurred and how the process works. The item in question was brought forward by city staff at a planning commission meeting. It was not initiated by the planning commissioners, nor by the city council. In our process, staff research and prepare proposed policy changes, which are then reviewed publicly by the planning commission before ever coming to the city council for consideration. The planning commission serves in an advisory role, and ultimately any final decision would have required a public hearing and action by the city council here on this dais. I also want residents to understand that no official decision can be made outside of a public meeting. The business of the people must be conducted publicly, which is why planning commission meetings and city council meetings are so important. Those meetings are where concerns are heard, questions are raised, and decisions are openly discussed before any action is taken. Public participation is not just welcomed, it's essential to how local government should function. It's equally important to acknowledge that there were aspects of this process that understandably caused frustration and concern within the community. The item was scheduled for a special planning commission meeting, meaning that it was held outside of the commission's regularly meeting schedule. Because it was a special meeting, the legal noticing requirements were shorter than usual, and in hindsight for staff, I'm sure that a proposal involving significant changes that directly impact residents, I'm sure that their takeaway is that a shorter notice period was not the best approach. Our community deserves adequate time to review proposals, ask questions, and participate meaningfully in the process. Additionally, I've been informed by our community development director that staff will be bringing back our current setbacks that were adopted as part of the more than year-long general plan update process. The goal is not to be as restrictive when it comes to large animals in rural zones, while still ensuring thoughtful planning and compatibility within the community. I also want to say this clearly. All of us on this dais care deeply about this town, just as you do. We value the character of our community, and we understand the responsibility that comes with serving the public. In response to concerns that were raised, our city manager has already begun implementing changes internally to improve the process moving forward. These efforts include avoiding special meetings whenever possible for major community impacting items, increasing direct outreach to affected residents, and strengthening overall community engagement so residents receive earlier and clearer communication. Good leadership means listening to the community, learning from mistakes, and improving processes when concerns are raised. And that's exactly what we intend to do. So thank you to everyone who took the time to attend the last two planning commission meetings. If you're here today, welcome. We appreciate you taking the time to speak up and stay engaged in the future of our city. Before we continue, City Manager, do you have any comments?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think the mayor said it very well, but just from a staff perspective, just wanted to say that yes, we are working on some changes internally to improve communications and processes so that the type of confusion that happened last month will hopefully be avoided moving forward. I do want to point out just process, right? Staff is appointed to do sometimes very technical jobs. And in community development and in planning, very often staff is looking things at, in the terms of a technical analysis and responding to, in some cases, issues that they're dealing with process, and in this case, code enforcement issues that they're looking to address. And it's really the job of the elected and appointed representatives, so the City Council and the Planning Commission, to look at that information and then bring in the perspective of the community, right? Community sentiment, the community values. They are the elected and appointed representatives of the public. The item that came up last month, it missed the mark when it came to what's important to the community, right? And I don't think we're ever in any real danger of those things being implemented into policy, because it would have had to be approved by the Planning Commission and then go to the City Council and be approved at a City Council meeting as part of a public hearing, and then come back to the City Council on second reading, and then if approved, 30 days after that goes into. We were very far away from any of that ever happening, but just the very fact that it appeared in a staff report on a Planning Commission agenda was enough to raise concerns. And so in that way, I think the process worked as intended. The community saw that, expressed concerns, the Planning Commission responded, the City Council responded. But I want the community to know that we understand how important the history of this community is, the more rural areas and the rural nature, the equestrian element. And I've heard nothing on the staff side or on the part of the City Council, the Planning Commission, that would indicate to me that anyone has a desire to change any of that. In fact, we're actively looking for ways to enhance those things, and we have an item on the agenda tonight that I believe actually might be continued to a future agenda item to work on an Old Town specific plan as an example, as one way to start preserving some of the historical nature of the city. And so understand that the process is one thing. I believe the process worked. It gave the community a little bit of a scare, and for that we're sorry, and we are working on ways to prevent that from happening in the future.
At least anything, if we know that the community's watching and paying attention, right? That's a good thing. Keep us on our toes. The mayor and I had the same conversation. If you guys don't know, we're talking about the, animals and chickens. I can tell you when I saw it on Facebook, 'cause I don't always see the Planning Commission agenda. It somehow showed up in my feed. I'm like, oh, that'll never pass. And then I just kept going. So you're not wrong. It was really far away from ever being an actual thing. And if my colleagues are similar mindset, I'm sure it was never going to pass. And so, yeah. Thanks, Mayor, for saying all this good stuff.
Before we continue, just want to make it clear that I do anticipate that some of you are here to give public comment on this item. We will not be able to respond. So I took the liberty of opening this meeting with those remarks so that our city attorney doesn't have to reprimand me later. With that, we'll begin our presentations. And we've got quite